The teachings of the Buddha is known as the Dharma, which we learned in the last lesson is cause and effect. It also has several other meanings, such as Nibbana. It is also the teaching of the Four Noble Truths. In an earlier lesson, we talked about the 5 ascetics who cheered the Buddha on when he practiced strict asceticism. They left him after he had a bowl of milk and curd, thinking he had gone back to the life of pleasures. But they became the Buddha's first disciples after his enlightenment, and the Buddha taught his first disciples the Four Noble Truths. The first of the Four Noble Truths is dukkha. Dukkha is a Pali word. In English, it is translated as suffering. Some scholars have interpreted Buddhism as nothing but suffering, but this translation is misleading. There are many meanings to the word dukkha, such as impermanence, imperfection, dissatisfaction, and not just pain and misery. Suffering comes in 2 forms, and they are physical and mental. Physical suffering includes the pain of aging, the pain of having to suffer from illnesses, dying and death. It also includes these things because these are the causes of physical sufferings. Where there is birth, there will be death. Where there is youth, there will be aging. Where there is health, there will be illnesses. Then there is mental suffering, such as being separated from what you like. It could be your favorite car, your dog, or your partner. There is suffering in being with what you dislike, such as a person or situation you don't like to be in. Not getting what you want is also painful. The Buddha is not saying that there is no happiness in the world. There is what he calls mundane happiness experienced by people in the world, such as family life, friendship, to falling in love, or enjoying a good meal. But such happiness are not lasting. Sooner or later, they all fall apart and come to an end. They are often changing, even when we are alive. Nothing stays the same. It is only natural that things change. Birth, old age, illness, and death. We suffer only because we are unable to accept the cycles of nature, such as birth and death. If we can accept the natural human environmental life cycle, we would not need to suffer. So, the first noble truth is really saying there is suffering. Not only do we not want to accept things as they are, therefore that causes suffering. But if we can accept things as they are, there would not be so much suffering in the world. The second noble truth is the cause of suffering. So, the first noble truth is the effect, which is suffering, and the second noble truth is the cause. What is the cause of dukkha? There are 3 causes of suffering, but they are mainly craving and clinging. The first is craving for sensual pleasures. When we like something so much, we tend to cling to it and not want to let go. The second is craving for becoming, such as the need to become someone your parents want you to be, the person your partner wants you to be, or the need to be well liked by everyone. Then there is the craving for not becoming, since people do not wish to continue becoming in their current lives, so they may end up killing themselves. Or one could decide not to want to be an architect, a dancer, or a filmmaker, or a father, a mother, or a friend anymore. If you look at it, wanting to become is the same as not wanting to become. Craving for not wanting is still craving for wanting something else. The third noble truth is the cessation of dukkha. What is the cessation of dukkha? In the verses of the Buddha's direct disciples who attain Nibbana, the cessation of dukkha is the end of craving and has been described as the blowing off of the flame on a candle. Craving has been said to be like heat. The craving and wanting and restlessness in us causes heat. While enlightenment or Nibbana is the cooling off of the heat, where one is always at ease and not disturbed or burned by desires and craving. Just like the Buddha, who attained perfect peace and ease in his heart. But this does not mean he just sits there and do nothing. The Buddha continues living and working. He does not just sit by passively, but he is constantly at ease when he is alone, when he is with people, when he has food, when he has no food. He is always cool and at peace. He was unattached to people and his actions. The way he worked allows him to be free in his environment and with the people he was working with. So, the third noble truth is describing an effect. The fourth noble truth is the cause of the third noble truth, and it is the path to walk towards the cessation of dukkha. This path is known as the Noble Eightfold Path, and it starts from right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration or tranquility, and back to right understanding. Right understanding is the understanding of the Four Noble Truths, which then causes right intention, so on and so forth towards peace and tranquility. The Noble Eightfold Path is a conditioned truth, not an absolute truth, but it leads to the unconditioned truth, which is Nibbana. And we have come to the end of today's lesson. We will continue with more lessons on Bite-Size Buddhism next week.